Hi, this is Carolyn Anderson with cohort number 34, and I am I'm using an innovative way to do my assignment. This is for when things go wrong, risk and crisis management from a legal perspective. And I have chosen to incorporate two things that I've learned over the Summer Institute in order to complete this assignment. So number one, the theme this year is about innovation. And so I am being innovative where I am going to use a video and do my assignment as a presentation rather than typing up a one-page document about what I learned from this class. That is really easy for me to do because I just look back over my notes, what I've taken, the PowerPoint slides, and then I'll be able to just regurgitate, this is what I learned. But will I be able to retain that information, submitting the paper, getting the assignment? So I wanted to do a quick, innovative way. And also I learned that there's a new way of doing presentations, which the doctoral faculty have been following, where you do something, you present an idea or a suggestion or a complete presentation in 6 minutes and 40 seconds. So I am going to attempt to do my assignment in 6 minutes and 40 seconds rather than you reading a one-page document for 6 minutes and 40 seconds or 15 minutes. I will do this innovative way. So I'm going to go from memory based on what I learned. So I came into the class initially with the understanding that it was going to be talking about labor law. So initially I was just somewhat confused, and I think there were some other individuals there because I'm not only in higher ed, but I'm also I have my own company, and I also have worked in corporate America for quite some time. So I just wanted to know a little bit more from a legal perspective as far as what do you do if you're on the receiving side, and what do you do when you're also the leader that the issue is up against. So, but anyway, we had the option of staying in the class or leaving from the professor, Annalise. And so I decided to stay because, you can never know or learn too much about law from a legal perspective. Lord knows, I don't know half of the stuff that's out there, don't know half or even a third of what Annalise knows, because that's her area of expertise. What I did know, though, is that there's different types of law. So I learned that there is common law, the laws that are, legislated, and also the law from each state. There's state laws, and then there's the federal law. There you go. So the federal law, which covers, I guess, the entire United States, and then each state have their own set of laws. And laws basically is just to govern us so that we have something to abide by. It was meant originally to be equal so that everyone could have an equal opportunity, so that everybody was being judged per se, or were being submitted to the same criteria. So that was the original intent of the law, so that if you wouldn't be able to discriminate that person did that and this person did this. We had one common theme and one common law, or one common way of the justice system that everyone should and abide by. So there are just different types of laws, different types of judicial system. And let's see, what else did I remember? So I remember about risk, that for one, you got to be able to take risk, and everything that we do now pretty much is risque or very risky in the environment that we're in, because a lot of people have become very lawsuit happy, and so you have to know the laws that govern your organization. That I needed to also know the handbook very well, the policies and procedures that are within my organization, so that I know that I don't break them, and I also know if they're being broken, and I can refer back the individual to the policies and procedures. One of the things I have learned from being in management and being in leadership is that always point things back to the policies and procedures. Always have a policy or a procedure that you can reflect things back to. And from this class, Annalise confirmed that, so that you take the personal issues out of it, so that it's not an issue against the employee or an issue against the manager, but it's rather a breaking of the policy and the procedure. So in this class, I also learned that, and Annalise also talked about litigation. She touched on that a little bit about what litigation is all about, and that if you need help, to seek an expert. And if I don't learn anything else from the class, I learned that the law is very convoluted and it's complicated and it's difficult to understand. And so always get advice, whether it's HR or external attorney, depending on the case, or just to seek wise counsel. In fact, the Bible talks about that. To seek wise counsel. She also mentioned about mindsets, how you have a mindset towards the system and to the environment that you're in. We talked about the culture of environments, how it's different from K through 12 for higher ed and for those that are in businesses. The majority of the individuals in the room were K through 12, and we have a lot of school discussions, but when we did get into the group, I happened to be sitting next to me at my table was a young lady that is in quote unquote the business world, so non-K through 12. She worked at the Medical College of Wisconsin, and so we had a great discussion about what she considers to be risks, and have they taken risk at their organizations, and I talked also about mine, and so we were able to have some table sharing in this class, and I learned a lot from discussion. I'm also an audio visual learner, so when Annalise have us meet in our groups and talk and I'm at 6 minutes and 23 seconds, so I got 20 seconds left. So to wrap this up in a nutshell, I learned that there are state and there are federal laws and there are local laws and there's local regulations, and that emails are not a good way to communicate, that we never lose emails, that they're always there somewhere on somebody's server, and that we should treat email as very serious, that whatever you're saying in an email can be exactly what you're saying in front of a person. So be careful when you're writing emails, because it becomes a permanent record. Texting was the same thing. We discussed about texting also. Annalise says she hated email and like him at the same time, and I feel the same way. I have gotten in trouble before for just emails, when I was angry and it was all bold and red, but what I've learned, you live and you learn. What I've learned is that you take a step back, even a day, maybe 2 days, and just sit back, digest the situation, self-evaluate, do some self-reflection, and come back and type it the right way, the normal way, as though you were typing it to your family member. So that's kind of how I do it. I'm like, what would my family think? But they say, gosh, she's mean. So I have to just kind of take a step back, because when those hormones are flying and you're upset, that's not the right time to send an email. So self-reflection and taking back a step. So thank you for reminding me about that as I'm getting to venture out into a new arena right now in July. So finally, we wrapped up with just open discussion and talking about when you're in a crisis situation, what do you do and who to turn to? And the answer is always find someone that is an expert. So I have learned over my years to hire my weakness. So, I don't need any more visionaries in my company, but I'm not good in social media and marketing, so I hire that. So the same thing would apply for this particular class. If I ever have a situation where I need outside help or counsel, or it becomes a legal issue, an issue of risk or compliance, I will definitely be seeking expert advice. Maybe I can call Annalise, but I will be seeking expert advice, and I will recommend that to my organization as well, so that I know what I'm doing. Also, record keeping was a very thing that was discussed, that you need to have good record keeping, because they can come and ask for everything you've written, and whenever there's perhaps a litigation, they can ask for every documentation. So just be careful in what you're doing, was what I learned. So to wrap up, this is my second wrap up. I'm at 9 minutes. Oh my God. Okay. So to wrap up, thank you for this class. My biggest 3 takeaways are: number 1, know the law. You will never probably know it at all, but my ignorance of not knowing the law does not preclude me from if something wrong should happen and I should fall into a situation where I have to be in some kind of a lawsuit or litigation. Number 2 is emails. Remember that it's a permanent and it's always there. It's always hanging out on somebody's server. And number 3 is just, be careful in your documentation, and also, just know that there are people out there that, may be sue happy. And if that is the case, to make sure that you always run things through legal counsel and to seek advice in everything that you do. I will finish this before 10 minutes, and so I have 4 seconds left. Thank you. This is my assignment.